how our mind can sabotage us, and how to overcome it. You ever stop to think about how our own mind can play tricks on us and steer us off the path we've planned? Imagine you decide to adopt a healthier lifestyle, setting clear goals, like starting to exercise regularly and improving your diet. At first, you're full of motivation, but inexplicably, you find yourself postponing trips to the gym. You promise yourself you'll start on Monday, but when that day comes, a sense of fatigue or discouragement appears out of nowhere, and you end up giving up. This example illustrates how many times we set clear goals and make a detailed plan to achieve them, only to find ourselves facing behaviors that divert us from the course. We make decisions that seem illogical, encounter unexpected mental blocks, and sometimes even develop physical symptoms, like headaches or fatigue, that prevent us from moving forward. This feeling that something is sabotaging us can be extremely frustrating, leaving us puzzled as to why we can never achieve what we desire so much. But why does this happen? Why at times do we destroy our own plans for no apparent reason? Carl Jung, the renowned Swiss psychiatrist, devoted much of his work to exploring the unconscious and reached some fascinating conclusions about this phenomenon. He identified a part of our psyche that he called the shadow. Jung described the shadow as a psychological space within the unconscious, where we store the undesirable aspects of our personality. In this dark place where the light of our consciousness doesn't reach, we hide those traits of ourselves that we consider unacceptable. This repression can happen for various reasons. Perhaps our parents didn't approve of these traits, or maybe they don't fit society's standards. Life may have taught us that these aspects cause us suffering, so we repress them, pushing them deep into the psyche as if they are not part of who we are. However, as Jung warns us, this repression does not solve the problem. On the contrary, it can have disastrous consequences, because these repressed aspects gain a life of their own and begin to operate in the darkness. Outside of our conscious control, this is where self-sabotage truly begins. These repressed parts of the personality rebel against our conscious mind, emerging from the depths of the shadow. Thus, we end up in a war with ourselves, without even knowing who or what we are truly fighting. Fortunately, Jung offers us a way out instead of repressing what's in the shadow. He suggests that we must integrate these aspects into our conscious personality. This can only be done by bringing the unconscious to the surface, making conscious what is hidden. A major confusion that arises when talking about the shadow is the idea that it is simply the negative side of our personality. Many see it as the part of us that holds all the negative impulses, which is why the shadow is often symbolically represented as a dark figure, suggesting a threatening other self operating outside of our conscious perception. However, the shadow is much more than that. It is like a dark place in the human psyche where the light of consciousness does not reach. In this dark closet, we lock away all the parts of our personality that we are not ready to face or reintegrate at the moment. Whether due to trauma, unmet needs, or other reasons, when we talk about working with the shadow and integrating it, we are not talking about integrating the shadow itself, but rather the contents it holds. These contents are the repressed parts of our personality that reside in that dark place. Just as we can take objects out of a dark closet and bring them into the light, we can also bring these aspects of our personality into the light of consciousness, where they cease to be shadowed. Therefore, there is nothing inherently dark or negative about these aspects. The problem is that when they operate outside of our awareness, they cause issues because of this disconnection. It is crucial to understand that when these parts of the personality are repressed, we are not simply dealing with isolated traits. As Jung clarifies, unconscious motives often prevail over our conscious decisions, especially in matters of vital importance. These personality fragments, separated from consciousness, are often called shadow aspects. They are like mini personalities, each being part of you as they are fragments of your own identity. When these mini-personalities separate from consciousness and are placed in the dark closet of the shadow, they become autonomous and independent from your conscious personality, the ego. These shadow aspects have their own perspectives, needs, and agendas, which may or may not conflict with the goals of our conscious personality. When the goals of your conscious personality conflict with the goals of one or more of your shadow aspect, this causes great inner turmoil and a sense of resistance. This internal conflict can manifest in procrastination and self-sabotage behaviors, making it difficult to bring about positive changes in your life. Let's examine an example of how shadow-based self-sabotage can manifest in someone's life and frustrate their plans. Imagine a man who strongly identifies as a solitary person. His goal is to run a successful online business and live in the countryside, as this lifestyle minimizes interaction and dependence on others, something he consciously believes he wants. Although the idea of self-sufficiency is viable, he repeatedly undermines the progress he makes. For example, he receives an offer to buy a piece of land in the middle of nowhere at an affordable price, but he refuses with a weak justification. Or he manages to attract a large number of followers to his lifestyle blog, which has great earning potential. But he decides to stop posting without being able to explain his decision with solid reasons. From the ego's point of view, as he consciously perceives himself and determines what he wants and needs, his choices seem unreasonable. After all, he strongly identifies as a self-sufficient loner. He has dreamed for years of being independent and living away from the masses. But as soon as his dreams begin to come true, he places obstacles in his own way. He cannot explain why. It seems like something or someone is sabotaging his efforts. This something sabotaging his efforts could be a repressed aspect of his psyche, a shadow acting autonomously. This shadow may be connected to a deep fear of absolute loneliness, or an unconscious desire for validation, which conflicts with the isolated life he consciously seeks, even though his conscious part desires total independence. This shadow fears isolation and unconsciously seeks to avoid this scenario by sabotaging his attempts to bring his plans to fruition. In this way, the man continues to drift away from his goals, always finding rational justifications for his delays and changes of plan. But as long as he doesn't face and integrate this repressed part of himself, this fear of loneliness or desire for connection, he will remain trapped in a cycle of self-sabotage where his dreams will always seem unattainable, even though they are so close. Jung emphasizes in Memories, Dreams, Reflections. A deeper understanding of oneself is crucial to overcoming cycles of self-sabotage and achieving true personal growth. When we shed light on what is hidden, we gain control over what previously controlled us. The journey of self-awareness and shadow integration is essential for those who seek to live more fully and consciously. And have you ever been in situations where you felt like something inside you was sabotaging your plans? How did you deal with it? Leave your experience, doubts, and reflections in the comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Let's embark on this journey of self-knowledge together.